Hello, Royalty. This is Princess AV checking in with you again. I decided to do a reality TV chat. So I told you my page will have a lot of variety, a lot of different things. And since I love me some ratchet TV, I decided I'm going to start doing some reviews. So today, it's the first week of April, second week of April, I'm sorry. It's the quarantine, days are running in together. So I felt that this week has been kind of boring. And at first I was going to do a video for each show, but this week I'm going to just do a quick rundown of whatever happened this week because it's just been kind of boring. Start of the week, new episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I love them. I love me some Nene, some Candy. Those are my favorites on the show right now. So I'll give you a rundown and a review of what happened. Um, First, you see Nene and Greg. I want to say Greg is looking good since he has been in remission from his cancer, and I just pray to God that he continues to get well. You can see him getting a little weight on him, and him and Nene look really, really happy. So then you see Nene and Cynthia back in the swag boutique after the Greece trip, and they were cute and whatever, and they matching animal print. So you could tell that they really are friends and deep down because they have that connection. Only my good girlfriends that I end up dressing alike and it's unplanned. But you saw Cynthia give her the explanation of when they was in Greece and how she was going to impersonate her. I think she did a decent job. I really don't understand why Nene was so bothered by this situation. I did hear on another show, Watch What Happens Live, that she felt that they were going to be biased. And it's kind of sad because I feel like if your friend is your friend, she's your friend. Um, I don't think that she would have been partial to Kenya at all, or at least I think she should have given her a chance to prove otherwise. So at that time, then of course, Portia drives in and invites them to their little March of Dime event. Well, I won't say little, but you know what I'm saying. So that was a cute little kiki real quick. And I'm looking at notes, so don't bother me. The real tea was Kenya discussing Mark Daly. Um, it's hard to gauge somebody else's relationship when you on the outside looking in. And I'm sure that it's definitely hard to have a relationship on television. But Mark Daly is a butthole, at least to the eye, the outside, the public eye. But it must have been something that he was doing to make Kenya fall in love with him. Maybe he lays pipe real good. I don't know. Well, apparently to that girl she was calling, he does. Um, she mentioned that he didn't want to do counseling, that he did a lot of things, and I'm trying to figure out what happened that he pulled the wool over her eyes so much that she was willing to be with him in spite of some very large red flags. So I will say that she did a good job. She hurried up and got that estate taken care of because, honey, ain't nothing like protecting your points, okay? Protecting your baby. But I think they should have done that in the first place, regardless of his attitude problem about a prenup, whatever. She should have done it under the table if she had to. I know love is love and nobody wants to think about them losing their relationship or in the case of, but it's treacherous out here. You know what I'm saying? You just got to do what you got to do. But I do commend her for not wanting to block Mark out of Brooklyn's life. That's the best way to go. Doing whatever you can to make sure that the child is set, that the child is thought of first. So I hope that they work that out. I've seen videos recently of them holding hands, getting together. But honey, if it works for you, then do you, boo boo. But I will say that it was also an issue where she mentioned that aside from the cheating or whatever, allegedly, that he didn't let her talk to his parents. And I'm like, if he has a relationship with his parents, then there's no reason why you should have met his parents. I would be very staunch on that. And I would, I would be puzzled as to why you would not let me meet your parents. Or I would ask his other relatives, if you met them, what's the deal? Because that's just really odd, and how he blocked her out of his life. Then you shouldn't have married him, honey, because he's hiding something. And a man that hides too much, it's a problem. And now that you're 2 years in, you can't turn back from it, and it's really sad. I hope that they work this out, and if she's gonna be in his life, that Kenya digs and finds out the real him, because apparently she is married a representative of Mark and not the real him. So then we go back to Candy and Todd. I really admire Todd. I think he's come a long way. I like Todd from the start. I wasn't a fan of the way they made him out to be the gold digger, as they say. And you can see that it still bothers him a whole lot. And I think he needs to get over all of those words that they put on him and those labels that they put on him, and just be Candy's husband and just be happy. But I commend him for continually trying to work, take care of Ace. And it's hard to be a husband and stand behind your wife, and to put his dreams aside like he said he has, or put the things that he wants to do aside in order to support Candy. And I think he definitely needs more love and accolades, not just from Candy, just from the world, to show that he really cares about Candy and they're still going strong, and he cares for his kids. It's hard to see a strong black man out here caring for their kids. And, I see Candy, is hurt by not being able to be with their kids, because being a single mother and a hard worker, I know some days you do feel kind of crappy when you want to be there with your kids, or your kids want you to be there and you have to be at work. But I really hope that she does get that work-life balance that she needs to, in order to make things work. Then we're on to Miss Eva Marcel. Eva had a baby this episode. I just want to say she was snatched. She was looking good. She probably did that for the cameras. I don't know, but she looked really good having that baby. And you know who her baby daddy is. You know it's Michael, because the baby looked just like him. So I wish them the best. They look really cute together. And then Miss Cynthia. Her little storyline today was basically about Kenya and Nene. And my favorite line of her this week was, if I threw a bitch away every time we fell out, I would never have any damn friends. And I thought that was hilarious. I do think that Nene is partially right when she says that she's easier on Kenya. But I think sometimes we just deal with our friends a certain way because we know we have to deal with it individually differently. But I do think that it's none of Nene's business and how Cynthia relates to Kenya, because it's not their friendship. And if they don't have a mutual friendship, then there's nothing to say. I think she needs to worry about how Cynthia treats her, and that's it. And if she wants to stay friends with Cynthia, then do that and just leave the other mess alone. And more or less, I think Cynthia is real into Mike, and that's it. That's her main priority. And so now we get to all of them at the event for the March of Dimes that Portia had. First, I thought it was really, really messy for Nene to come right on in and talk about Kenya's affairs. I mean, Kenya, I know she's planting some seeds that make bad things happen, but Nene is not letting up on her. She is riding her like a bronco. And I think it was really messy for her to talk about that girl's alleged affairs that her husband had, Mark Daly. We don't know how it happens. And I think sometimes we should be fair, because they don't like the gossip blogs and bloggers to come at them without factual information. And so, it was just messy. I think all of them looked cute. Candy, she was in town and out of town. Forgot about her husband. Okay, I guess she had to go home and get laid with him just to keep him okay. But they had all their little breasts out. They was cute or whatever. I think they had some good stories about miscarriages and sharing about their experiences, so it made you a little bit closer to them. Um, One thing I was shocked about, just like Portia was with Shamia, mentioning that she texted Kenya about her water breaking. So I didn't even know they even liked each other like that for her to call her. So that was interesting. I really expected a bigger reaction out of Portia, but you could tell that she's been growing and that she didn't have as big of a reaction. But I would probably ask my friend, if I'm your best friend, why is you over here calling her? I'm just curious, but that's just me or whatever. So, they talk about each other so bad and they so daggone phony. You don't know who likes who. So I guess they made up afterwards, but I would probably be more partial to Portia because that's my friend. That's my bestie before I was Kenya. But I guess to be continued. So like I said, the Housewives of Atlanta this week, it wasn't that interesting. I remember Candy saying that we don't watch if it's not a lot of drama. So I appreciate the downtime, but I am looking for the drama next week, and I'm really looking forward when they figure out how to do this reunion. I don't think the reunion is going to be as good because it's going to be on a Zoom conference or whatever, and I think that when everybody's in a room together, then that's when they get brave. It's a different type of bravery than me sitting on a computer talking to you and I can't get up in your face. So I'm still hoping it's just as juicy, but it's just not going to be the same, but I am looking forward to the reunion. Now, let's go on to Love and Hip Hop. Let's start off with Atlanta. Atlanta franchise is my favorite franchise of them all. One of the originals. Honey, I've always been stuck to my TV on Monday nights to watch me some Love and Hip Hop. Now, I know if they get wind of this video, they're probably going to drag me, but I don't care. Carly Red. Honey, I'm tired of looking at her. She's an older woman, seasoned. She's not an old woman, but she's older than what we think on television, or they would like to make you think that she's on television, because she's been in these streets a very long time, honey. So I see that she's trying to get some nips and some tucks and some fillers, but it's not doing anything for her. She's a pretty woman, so I don't know what the hell she's doing to her face. She needs to stop. The fillers in the lips, her lips were fine. Whoever is doing her makeup now and giving her these new makeup foundations and trying to make her skin lighter, if she made that decision herself, maybe it's the wrong one, because every other time she gets on the screen, she's looking casket sharp, okay? And you looking dead, and it's not cute, honey. Please go back to the original where you were and just let that be, because what's going on now, it's not hot. It's not hot at all. And so you saw her looking all extra, I call it casket sharp, at the self-defense class. So Mimi threw this self-defense class because she wanted everybody to protect themselves after they were shooting in her house or whatever. And just women empowerment. We know the storylines how they go. So Carly Red comes with Kiyomi. Those who don't really know Kiyomi, they gave a light description on there. I don't recall her being called the girl who beat up Bow Wow in the elevator, because that's not quite how it happened. I think they had a straight up fight. She was on not Love and Hip Hop, Growing Up Hip Hop with Bow Wow, and their relationship was very volatile all the time. They're very immature, fighting all the time. The brat on the show, and a lot of them, they didn't like her because they felt that she was a clout chaser. In this instance, it doesn't look any different than if she was clout chasing on the other show. She's definitely clout chasing on this show, because I don't see her purpose in the show. She's just got a good agent. Now, first of all, the lie that comes in is Carly introduces this little girl to her friends, like, oh, we go to the same hairdresser and we hit it off. Look, honey, Carly is about 50 years old and this girl in her late 20s. What do you have in common that you just hit it off real good? Is y'all going to the club together? No. Is y'all going to the same functions together? No. I mean, y'all don't even have the life experiences. She probably the same age as her daughter. Like, I just felt that they just put her in and they needed an excuse to put her in the show in order to give her some relevancy. Then she's with Shooter. And again, Shooter is another old nigga. And you with this young girl. Well, that happens, but I don't see it. I don't see it. So I think they just doing this for a storyline. They gave her a way to insert herself. And there it is. There it is. Now, speaking of now Shooter, now we go into his storyline. I think that they need to make him more interesting, because since him and Sierra was together and they was fighting about that little girl in the parking lot, he really hasn't been relevant. So I think they're trying to make him relevant. The story with him and Sierra in the court case, that's stupid. It's not relevant. But now all of a sudden he's got two women whom we care less about. And it's just showing, trying to make a connection between him and Sierra. And I think that's what the real storyline will be, is him and Sierra going to get into a fight again about who he's sleeping with, okay? So on one side, he got this little girl he says he likes the best, which is Kiyomi. And I know she's a grown woman, but in the midst of older women, she's a little girl. He likes her the best only because he gets to do what he wants to her. And that's the issue. He doesn't want the mature woman. He wants to keep her in the dark. But I'm going to tell you, 2 years into a relationship and we out in the streets and now all of a sudden you can't be out in the open. You know, that's some trick to it. And I would have left him alone anyway. And let's talk about Akbar. I am so tired of the beef between Akbar being the queen of Atlanta, or who's running Atlanta. I'm like, Spice, ain't none of y'all got no records. Ain't none of y'all got no real money. So what is the point of you being the queen? It's just a title, and it's a title that you gave yourself. Atlanta didn't give it to you. You gave it to yourself. So who cares? Okay? She keep talking about getting her kids together. That should be your priority, baby. How much money do you need to get your kids in your house? You just not taking care of them. Because I know honeys out here in the projects, and plenty of women as single parents that's got far less money, because you're getting a little check from Love and Hip Hop. I'm not saying it's a big check, but you're getting a little check from them, enough to get you an apartment with your kids, okay? If that's what your main focus was. But your main focus is your career. So just be truthful. Just quit putting that out there so that you could get some sympathy about what's going on. You want to be the queen of Atlanta. The only queen of Atlanta in that game is really your cousin Candy, because she's the one who everybody knows. We would not know these people if it wasn't for Love and Hip Hop. They just doing small time local stuff. Now, I'm not going to say that she's not a good rapper, that none of these girls is a good rapper, but this is stupid. Let's come with some real content, boo. Okay? Now, last year, it was Tokyo she had a fight with, and somebody else she was trying to, oh, I'm better than you. No rap battles, nothing. So this year, it's light-skinned Keisha. Nobody even knows her outside of Love and Hip Hop. This is the first time I really heard of her. So, they just making a beef just to be making a beef. But I'm going to give it to light-skinned Keisha, Ms. Vango herself, okay? She makes sure that every time she gets on that camera that she says, we meet the Vangos, we're with the Vangos, this is light-skinned Keisha. You won't forget her, okay? And I like the authenticity of her. She knows how to brand in the right way, okay? So, but it's going to get on your nerves, but that little girl knows what she's doing, okay? Then we go on to the next scene was with Mama D. Another person that they just had to make a storyline for. The drama with her and Miss Cece is overdone. I think that she's too old for her to be fighting like that. For them to create that type of fighting between the two. It was cute a little bit at first, But who's grown here? Who's mature to sit up there and just be fighting with each other like that? I think it was really despicable that they sat up there and fought like that in a restaurant. But let me back it up, honey. Miss Mama D came into the restaurant in her Kojic funeral gear. She probably ain't been to church since 1995. Oh no, she was there a couple of years ago because we saw it in the show. They created a storyline for that. But she had on her outfit ready to get with the shenanigans, okay? And I was ready for the shenanigans until she went too far. Who sits up here and argues about who did crack first, okay? That's just some low life stuff. But she really went too far when she brought out that obituary. I think that they was cool with the shenanigans and they was ready for the shenanigans until she came out with that. And you could see the Scrap really got like, okay, for real, this is too much. I'm not going to go for it. Go on somewhere, Ma. And he was done. And I hope that they can get this stuff together because the kids are involved. They're going to want their grandmothers. And they're going to want their grandmothers around. And that's terrible. Oh, excuse me. It's terrible that they have to act like that. I think they should come up with something better because they're grown. These grown women are not growing up and they're not acting like grandmothers. They're acting like the children. And it's terrible. And she damn near need her ass whooped, okay? Carly and Jock. Carly swears up and down that Jock wants to still get in her vagina. I don't think so. I think that if he really wanted to, that she would give him the vagina. I think it just makes her feel good to say that he does. You know, I think they have some attraction between them. But I really think that Jock is faithful to his woman. I really think that he wants to get married. He's just in that holding pattern that men get before they get married. And he needs to get his balls snipped off and just go on about his business and go and be happy. Now we talking about Scrap DeLeon. I think that he has a good storyline and they probably should have focused more on that. But instead, they always took away from time explaining what he's doing for the community to talk about some BS. Okay, the BS with them two people sleeping together. The BS with his mom. You know, I think it was real tacky for her to come into his event to talk to that girl about who she's sleeping with or worry about who Shooter's sleeping with. Like, I think that's not her business, period. And she's overstepping her boundaries as a parent and just as a person in general. And I think she should leave that alone. What goes on between that little girl's legs is her business. And I think she was out of order for coming to Scrap DeLeon about it. But we'll definitely see what happens next week. Also, the last thing I want to say about the Akbar situation and light skinned Keisha at the radio station. I think that was dumb. You could definitely see that was staged. But light skinned Keisha got a real reaction. I know this week on her fight and last week on her fight, she always talks about her belongings. Oh, we got watches, we got this and that. And that's always indicative of people in their youth, number one. Number two, that didn't have nothing. So they want to make sure that you know that they have something. So I guess them YouTube checks is coming through, honey. And the record she's selling is good. And if she's making that kind of money all the time that she's talking about Balenciagas and she got Rollies watches or whatever, Akbar maybe need to give up the queen crown to her and ask her how she's making her money so that she could get her kids back in her house. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so after Atlanta, you know, there was the Miami reunion. I'm just going to say a few things about that. Miami is okay. It's not that great. I didn't do a review about the first reunion. That girl Sukiyana, honey, she is giving it and giving me life. I think she was hilarious. I think she did a good job in fixing herself up. Prima Donna, she talked about her little rift between Jocelyn. I think it was useless because Jocelyn didn't have no camera time hardly in the show. She didn't think the show was worth it to come back. So, whatever. Trina went off on Nikki natural. So I think that that little girl, she just needs to be slapped. And I'm not a person that advocates violence. I think that she looks to get a rise out of people. And, she's irrelevant and she's not going to be relevant. And if she got all them kids and them baby daddies, she needs to be going to take care of them. Briscoe, he cheated on the girl. Like, these people is not interesting enough. I would have liked to hear more from Amara La Negra, something like that. Just stuff from Trick and Trina. You see that Trick is going back with Joy. If they're going to be back together, I hope that he treats her right. I hope he learns to treat his own self right and take care of himself. I think that Claudia Jordan did a decent job hosting it. And I think Bobby Lights, he came through. He came through with the tea, just to encourage the whole thing, and to get it going. And one thing I forgot, because I know that it's been a big thing on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, is Bambi. I think that Bambi and the light-skinned Keisha riff is stupid, because Bambi shouldn't even be in that girl's business. I know about girl code, but you measuring the miles on somebody else's vagina, and you should be worrying about yours going into retirement yourself. Okay, don't act like she wasn't on the whole clout chase before you got scrapped. Like, she was in the tub with all the homies. She done slept with some of the homies. I have a problem with her calling somebody else a hood squirrel in a hole, when we know before you got your scene on Love and Hip Hop that you was a hoe too. You could be schooling this girl on the hoeing, but you in somebody else's business that you shouldn't be. And I think that's an unnecessary storyline as well. We trying to take each other women down on stuff that has nothing to do with nothing. But they got to stay relevant, and they coming for light-skinned Keisha girl, but she is holding her own. I look forward to seeing more from her. I think she quit because she was bad, but that's okay. I might do a review next week on the Black Ink Crew. I did see the Black Ink Crew along with Love and Hip Hop. They are doing their confessionals from home. So I saw C's doing his confessional from home. Apparently he's taking over Chicago, which we don't know. We ain't seen nothing. He's going to go against Nine Mag, and then all this about some kitty cat. So then there's the thing with Donna and Alex. That's a whole different subject. But I just gave y'all a quick reality TV review. I will do another one before Sunday. Please let me know what you think. Follow me on Instagram, Princess AV613. Princess AV613. See, it rhymes. Please like and subscribe this video on YouTube, House of the Princess. Please, I need the support. I'm making more videos, funny videos, variety of videos. I'm going to give you all kind of content and bring the tea as well. And if you're on Facebook, like my Facebook page, Princess AV. All of these things will make you privy to my live videos, all the content that I'm putting up, and you'll get to know more about me and see things exclusive. Thank you. Please leave notes and comments about what you think as well. Give me some feedback. If it's something you want me to talk about, I'll definitely will. Thank you for being my royalty. I love y'all. Good night.